Have you heard of the term interdependence? It's an important concept to understand as a foundation for healthy relationships. In my work as a relationship specialist coach, where I help couples and individuals all over the world to create healthy and thriving relationships, it's something we talk about a lot. A healthy relationship is defined by a comfortable balance of holding onto a sense of self and at the same time being able to maintain connection. The important word to remember here is balance. If, on the other hand, things are too focused in the direction of maintaining an independent sense of self without any sense of closeness or intimacy, a couple can find themselves in an isolating, empty shell of a relationship, in a kind of emotional divorce. In that space of total independence, there's no sharing of emotions or feelings, and a general sense that the one doesn't really need the other. In this kind of relationship, there may be very little fighting, but it's also likely that there's very little closeness too. On the other hand, if a couple has no independence in the mix of the relationship and there's too much focus on togetherness, there are two unhealthy dynamics that can often emerge. The first dynamic is too much togetherness, where the two individuals merge into each other. And it might sound like a romantic idea that the two become one, but in practice, it's not a great place to be, because without any sense of self, if you can't hold on to who you are as an individual, you can lose all sense of responsibility for yourself. Boundaries are blurred and things get confused. So instead of taking responsibility for your own feelings and needs, you pass that responsibility over to your partner, and at the same time, you can take on too much responsibility for their feelings and needs. As each partner places responsibility on their significant other to get their needs met, it can be a pathway that leads to arguments, manipulation, or emotional volatility. A second dynamic that can manifest when there is a loss of a sense of self is where one partner is dominant over the other. On the surface, there's a pseudo-harmonious sense of togetherness, but under the surface, one of the couple is suppressing their own reality and their own needs, deferring to the dominant half of the couple. You can often identify this when someone uses the identity of we, where it would be more appropriate to use the term I. For example, when someone says something like, "we think that," this is often a sign that someone has subverted their sense of self for the relationship. It's surprisingly common. I know plenty of couples who think that it's a sign of love and care to always talk about what we want to do and what we would like, but don't realize what the negative significance of this might be on their relationship. An interdependent relationship is where the sense of I, and that's the individual, is balanced with the sense of we, the togetherness. We want the other person in our lives, sharing experiences and communicating our thoughts and feelings, but we still have a sense of who we are and what we need as an individual. Healthy relationships always require ongoing balancing in various directions, and there's no equation for getting the exact balance right, and it'll continually shift and morph over time. The important thing is that both exist, the individuality and the togetherness, and that we consciously keep the balance in the relationship. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about the unhealthy dynamic of too much togetherness, often known as codependence, where boundaries are blurred and the sense of self becomes lost, you might be interested in my videos on codependence and boundaries, which will be coming up soon on this channel. If you want to stay up to date with the videos, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. I really love sharing my tools and tips and guidance with you and supporting you on your journey to thriving relationships. So remember to hit that subscribe button so we can travel this path together.